What should you do with your first trading payout? Congratulations, you just got paid. That means you're a better trader than literally like 97% of every other trader on the face of the planet. Congratulations, you put in the work, you trusted your plan, you followed it, you stayed disciplined, you've done everything you're meant to do, and you made it to the payout stage. Or you just got super lucky on a random evaluation, you somehow flunked 3 stages and you've done a mad one, in which case pat yourself on the back, give yourself a round of applause, you got paid. Now, what should you do with that money? Should you immediately go buy a Lamborghini? Should you put it into a luxury watch? Should you go buy some jewelry? Should you put it back into funded? What should you do with your money? Now, first and foremost, let me just say this at the start of the video. Your money is your money. No one can tell you what to do, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. If you want to do something with your money, go and do it. It's your money, you've earned it, you've got the right to do whatever you want to do. But this is my personal opinion, how you should go about spending some of your trading profits. Now, it's entirely dependent on the size of the payout you get. Now, if you make a substantial payout, now I say the word substantial, and the word substantial is obviously relative, because to some people 1 grand might be substantial, to other people 10 grand might be substantial, to other people it might be even more than that, might be less, etc. It varies. But if you've made a substantial payout, this is what I highly recommend you do. Equally, even if you made a smaller payout, even a couple $100 or whatever it is relative to your account size, this is still what I recommend you do. Now, first and foremost, set aside some money for taxes. Don't forget about this. A lot of traders forget about this. I personally forgot about this whenever I started making some decent money from prop firms. Dependent on where you're at in the world, if you're in the UK or the US or whatever, and you're technically self-employed, you have to do self-assessment tax at the end of the year. Do not forget to set aside some money for that, because it's going to leave you in a world of trouble, and it will be very annoying to deal with, and like you're going to have to pay it eventually, whatever, or you're just going to get done for tax evasion. So make sure you set aside some money for taxes. Now, this video is not a video about taxes. However, if you are in the UK and you do not have a registered LLC company, then your tax is going to be dependent on the income you're making and dependent on what income bracket you're in. If you do have an LLC, then you'll just set aside 20%, it's actually 19%, but set aside 20% of your payout for tax purposes. Now, besides from that, that's all the boring stuff out of the way. Cool. So you have 80% of your profit left, or whatever it is that you've made. This is what I recommend you do. Take some of that money and set a small portion aside to reinvest back into funded accounts. Not all of it. A lot of people make the mistake of making some money and putting it immediately all back into the markets. For example, let's say they make a 2% payout on a 100k account. They've made 2 grand. They immediately take that 2 grand, then they buy another 200k accounts, for example, dependent on the price of it. Now, I understand the idea behind it. You're trying to scale, you're trying to compound your accounts, etc., etc. You're trying to put it back into your business, and I respect you for doing that. However, you need to understand that you just made money from the market. You just managed to do something that's incredibly difficult and extract money out the market. You don't want to then immediately go put that money back into the market, because let's say worst case scenario, you've made $2,000 and you put that $2,000 back into funded, and you then go ahead and lose the evaluations, or whatever happens. You haven't made any money, because you just gave it right back to the prop firm and you gave it right back to the markets, and like you're back at ground zero. So you need to make sure that worst case scenario, you still walk away with something, you've still done something. And I'd highly recommend you diversify your risk and you take money out the market and put it into something else. If you are trying to reinvest back into yourself, reinvest into education, reinvest into like the gym, into your like health, your leisure, whatever, reinvest back into a different business, but don't put it immediately back into the market. Again, take a small percentage, take a portion of that, and by all means put it back into prop firms, but do not use all of it, because it's not a good idea from my personal experience. Now, besides from this, I would also take a percentage of the money, and I'm not going to say what percent, because it's entirely up to you and how much you want to save and how much you want to spend and whatever, but take a percent of the money you've made and just put it aside for a rainy day, put it aside for an emergency, put it into like a savings account. Again, I'm not a huge advocate for savings and all of that stuff, because of inflation and a bunch of different things like this. Again, that's not what this video is about, but highly recommend put some money aside for a rainy day. You need to understand trading is an incredibly volatile market. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the markets are going to do. We don't know what price action is going to do. You can't guarantee that you're going to make profits again next month. It doesn't matter how good you are of a trader. It doesn't matter how much capital you have. It's always uncertain. It's always undetermined. You do not know. So I'd highly recommend do not go and spend all your money. Give yourself a little cushion. Give yourself some breathing room. Give yourself the peace of mind to understand, okay, if I don't make money this month from trading, if I don't meet my trading criteria and actually find some setups and make some profit, I can still sustain myself. I still have money for rent, I still have money for food, I still have money in the absolute worst case scenario to put back into fundeds and stuff of that nature. This is not only gonna just give you peace of mind, but it's also gonna make your trading better, because you're not gonna be trading from a place of like stress and trading from a place of, oh, I need to make money because I have bills due and because I have X, Y, and Z. Now, last but not least, let's say you have 50% left of whatever money you've made. Go ahead and spend it. I'd highly recommend. Go do whatever you wanted to do. You probably had something in your mind from when you started trading that you wanted to do. Now, granted, you might not be able to go on that private jet or to buy that supercar quite yet with your first payout, but have a little taste of something like luxury. Go out for a nice dinner, go buy a nice expensive pair of shoes or whatever it is that you're into. Like have a cool experience, do something, and while you're doing that thing, just have a conscious thought in your head that the market's paid for this. Reward yourself. You want to feel good. Chances are, if you've gotten to a point where you've made a payout, if you've gotten to a point where you've made some money and you've managed to pull that money out of the market, you've probably been trading for a decent while. Either that or you got very lucky, in which case this point doesn't kind of apply to you, but you've probably been going at it for a very long while. It's probably taken you a lot of heartache, a lot of time spent looking at the markets, a lot of time spent studying trading and all of this shit. It's taken you time, effort, and energy to get to where you're at. Go ahead and enjoy yourself. Get yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a reason to continue to work as hard as you've been working so you can go further and do more things. You get what I'm saying? Again, a lot of people make the mistake of putting all their bread back into the markets or all their bread back into other businesses, and they don't reward themselves for the work they've been doing. Now, I don't think this is the correct way to do it, because number one, you don't know. You might die next week. Like no one knows for certain. And the brain needs something tangible to hold on to. It needs something tangible to be like, okay, I've done X amount of work. I've been putting in my blood, sweat, and tears into this. What do I have to show for it? What have I actually made out of it? What have I actually done as a result of trading? Now, personally, what I done is, I think on my first payout, I bought myself a nice pair of shoes. And every time I wore those shoes, I looked at them, I was like, yo, trading got me this. I know I can actually trade. I know trading can actually give me stuff that's tangible because I have these shoes. I can just continue to like do things. And again, it's not about the shoes, don't get my point twisted, but it's about having something physical that the market has given you. That's a reminder that if you follow your plan and you trust the system and you do the things that you're meant to do, that you're rewarded for it and you're going to get things in return. You see what I'm saying? But that's it for the video, guys. Let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know what you think of this new camera. I'm actually using my phone to record it because the other camera I have started doing some weird thing where the audio goes out of sync and whatever. I realized it in the last video. Someone left a comment about that. Thank you. But let me know what you think of this new camera, the new camera angle. Am I too close? Am I too far back, etc.? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. This is a little extra segment that I'm doing because YouTube requires, I think, like 8-minute videos to get monetized on the video. So yes, now we are monetized. Thank you for watching.